HCF Clinic for sponsoring this great event. Well, I'm from California. One thing, and I'm also the director of the Cannabis Consumers Campaign, which is a project that stands up for our equal rights. Do we have any cannabis consumers out there today? Yeah, right on. These are my people. In the Cannabis Consumers Campaign, we ask people to come to our website, cannabisconsumers.org, fill out a survey, send us your photo, and come out of the closet. And the reason why we need to come out of the closet is to show that we are good, contributing members of our society. On my project, I prove that we are the good people. We are not criminals in any way, and that we should not be treated like criminals in any way. We should be treated like first-class citizens that we are, because we are good tax-paying people. We are not criminals, and we don't deserve to be treated any other way. So, we have to stand up to this discrimination in society that still exists against us. We need to say no to drug testing, which is a tool of discrimination against us. It does not test your impairment. It doesn't test whether or not you're qualified for the job. All it does is test whether or not you used cannabis in the last month or so. And if they do hair testing, it could be in the last 6 months or so. So it's totally a discriminatory practice, and we need to say no to drug testing. We need to say yes, and we need to stand up for our equal rights. We need to stand up for our right to be parents and to have custody of our children. We need to say yes to our right to freedom of religion, those of us who use cannabis as a sacrament. So many people say that they get a spiritual effect from cannabis. How many people get that effect? Feel closer to nature, feel closer to the universe, closer to God, closer to each other. Cannabis is a very healing kind of plant, and many people, aside from using it for medical benefits, and thank God for that, they use it for their spirituality as well, and we need to stand up for that right to use it in that way as well. And so Ngaio keeps making jokes about short-term loss, memory loss, but I like to say, stop blaming pot. We need to stop blaming pot for all these things that they keep blaming pot for all these things, and we need to take personal responsibility for ourselves and our use. And that's another aspect of the Cannabis Consumers Campaign that we advocate for, is responsible use, knowing when to use it, how to have a positive relationship with it that most of us already have, and to keep it as a very beneficial aspect in our lives. So we need to know when to use it, when to say no, how much we want to use it, where to use it, all kinds of things like that. And I have a flyer over at the Oregon Normal booth that you can pick up that also gives you some things to think about on how to maintain your positive relationship. Now I'm going to take another, I'm going to challenge Oregon here. I'm from California. And while Madeline thinks that Oregon is superior, I'm going to give a plug for California here. Yes, cannabis is still way too expensive, and we all agree that. And I am firmly behind $100 ounce. I think that sounds much fairer as a price for your cannabis. But meanwhile, what we're doing in California is we've got over 800 places now in the state, probably close to 1,000, and including delivery services where people can buy cannabis over the counter with your doctor's recommendation. And we have over 300,000 people registered as cannabis patients now, because our program is not quite as restrictive as yours. Pretty much anybody who gets a medical benefit out of cannabis can get their doctor's recommendation today. So we're proud of what we've accomplished in California in the fact that we do have great access, and at the same time people can grow their own, and people are still joining collectively to have their own collectives where they can grow a certain amount of cannabis, and it's kind of like, it's unbelievable. But we need to actually go the next step, and that's what's happening also in California. We have Assemblyman Tom Amiano, who's introduced some legislation that will legalize, tax, and regulate cannabis for adults in the state legislature. And Governor Schwarzenegger has said it's time for a debate there because we have such severe economic shortfalls in the budget. We have such a severe crisis, and they're cutting programs left and right. And we need to start thinking about the revenue stream that could come into California. And our Board of Equalization, our State Board of Equalization, even said that they believe that with the legal market in California, at minimum, we could expect to get $1.3 billion of tax revenue from our cannabis consumers in California. Now that's a lot of money, and people can use that to help get health care, to help our education. The poorest students are paying for the prison population right now, and we should not be doing that on the back. We should not be paying for the prisons by raising tuition rates on college students. That's just not right. And we also have a prison system that needs to release, according to the judges in California, we need to release 27,000 people from our prisons. And we say, why don't we start with the marijuana prisoners? Because they do not deserve to be in prison in the first place. So we're asking that for that. We also have 3 initiatives that have been filed to legalize, tax, and regulate cannabis for adults in California. So things are happening there. We'll see if they make it to the ballot. There's a very good chance that one of them will, and we might be voting on that in 2010. We'll see. Stay tuned. But meanwhile, I'm also the publisher of the West Coast Leaf newspaper, and if you don't have a copy, I believe they have some at the THCF clinic, and you can go pick one up there. You can subscribe to it, but it gives you all the latest news on what's going on in the cannabis world, and you can check it out online if you can't get a hard copy, and that's westcoastleaf.com. I invite you to go there to find out what's going on in the news, in the politics, in the court rulings that are standing up for us, how to get involved with reform, because we do need all of you to get involved. Together, believe me, together we are a big force. They estimate somewhere around 15 million to 20 million cannabis consumers in this country today. Now, there's no excuse for prohibition with those kinds of numbers, but the reason is that we need to get active, and you need to get involved, and we need to come out of the closet. We need to show them that we are the good people, that they don't need to waste any more money on prohibiting cannabis, that it's a waste of our resources, a waste of police resources that could go for much better uses. So we ask you just to think about how you can come out, how you can get involved, and we're counting on you. And the next time we come to HempFest, hopefully we'll have some more good news, but it's going to take all of you to make that happen. So thank you. Stand up for our equal rights. We deserve nothing less. Thank you very much.